Alright, welcome to another video here at the Lone Trail. Today we're going to do a shoe review of this shoe, Altra Superior 2.0. So as some of you might know, I pretty much run exclusively in Altra shoes, the Altra brand. I'm not sponsored by them. This is not a paid product review. I bought this shoe with my own money about a year ago. So I've been running in it for about a year. The reason that I run in Altra shoes pretty much exclusively is that Altra does something that other shoe producers do not do. Mostly there's two factors. First of all of the Altra shoes are zero drop, this one included. Zero drop means that from the heel to the toe, the stack height, there's no difference. So it's completely flat, you're flat on the ground. Whereas a lot of other shoe brands, they have a sort of a higher stack height at the heel, which means that you'll get a heel to toe drop, as it's called, and that's usually measured in millimeters. You know, maybe there's 4 millimeter drop from back to front, or much more even. That I find not ideal. I mean, we are not meant to sort of elevate our heel and walk around with high heels. Our feet are designed, adapted to walking flat on the ground, and our biomechanics are optimal when we do so. So when I'm looking for a shoe, I'm looking for a shoe that does not alter my natural gait. And any shoe with a heel would do that. Of course, there are certain benefits to having a heel. For example, if you're very tight in your Achilles tendon, that sort of thing. But then I think the better solution would be then to work on your flexibility and get to a point where you can tolerate a zero drop shoe. That would be the healthiest and best option biomechanically speaking. So Altra shoes has zero drop. That's one of the factors that I really like about Altra. The other factor is that there is a wide toe box. So the toe box here, on normal shoes you'll see a sort of almost narrowing towards the front of the shoe, a sort of pointy tip. And this is again like, what? Have you looked at a foot? I mean, feet are widest at this point. This is especially if you look at a baby's foot, because as we wear shoes more and more, our feet are actually crammed together. Sort of like, you know, in China they used to traditionally bind the feet to make them smaller. Well, that's what we do as well with our shoes. So in order to allow for our feet to naturally splay out, our toes to splay out and have that sort of foundation to run upon, Altra has this wide toe box going on. And this Superior model actually doesn't have the widest of all the toe box. There are some of the other models that have an even wider toe box. Anyway, that's the good things about Altra, in my opinion. Let's talk about this shoe in particular. Well, I don't have that much to compare to because I haven't tried all the other models. I've tried a few of the other models. I have a few of the other models. I rotate through different shoes depending on the conditions and depending on my mood almost. This shoe is a trail shoe, obviously. It's got very nice, what is this called? Lugs? Or, you know, it's the grip is very good with this shoe, but it's not excessive. It's still, you could still go on the road with these shoes. It's still a fairly flexible shoe. So it's not the toughest of the tough, if you will. It's a sort of all-around nice trail shoe, I find. I first started out running in Altra the One, which is more of a road shoe really. I upgraded to the One 2.5, which is what I've got now when I'm running on the road. Very light shoe, very basic. This is a little bit heavier than that, obviously, but still, I mean, still a very light shoe. I'm not exactly sure the weight. I'll put the specs down in the description, but it's overall a light shoe indeed. Also, the stack height is not too much. It's just enough to give you a little bit of cushioning for when you are heading out on the road. Or even on the trails and the rocks, etc. But it's still low enough, still minimal enough for you to have good contact with the ground and feel, yeah, you're definitely in control in this shoe. In terms of durability, I've probably ran about 500 kilometers or something in these shoes about now, and they seem to be holding up pretty well. I mean, there's some wear for sure on certain areas. Probably should get a new pair pretty soon, or you know, I don't know. I'm not that experienced as of yet in terms of shoe wear and how often to change it, but it looks to hold up pretty well, except this is the other shoe. As you can see here, it's torn up, but this actually, this sort of happens slowly over time, so that's a weakness, I guess. But this happened actually during a race. I think I just, you know, ripped it open on a route or on a rock or something like that. So that's not really about the durability. That was more of an injury, so to speak, to the shoe. Overall though, very durable, feels very solid, and it's comfortable too. It's not like it's rough on the edges or anything like that. It sits quite snugly around the heel without being too tight though. It's comfortable. It's good in every regard in that sense. When you're first starting out with an Altra shoe, you'll notice that, you know, the wide toe box is kind of unfamiliar maybe, but that's how it should be. Your toes should really be able to wiggle around, should have lots of space to sort of grasp the ground as it does naturally when you're barefoot running. So that's something you can do with Altra shoes. In here, under this thing, there's the option of having a rock plate or not. So this is the rock plate, protects you against rocks, obviously. You can choose to not use it, and the shoe will be a little bit lighter, but you'll have less protection against rocks. Because I'm always using these almost on pretty rocky conditions out on the trails, I tend to keep them in at all times. There's also a little feature back here, a gator trap, which you know, it's just if you're using gaiters on top to fix that. And then this thing is pretty cool. They call it a trail rudder, I believe. And the idea is that it's a technology that when you're going downhill, it's sort of, if you're sort of, when you're almost landing there, it sort of catches you rather than the possibility of sort of sliding and falling. So it's a way to sort of make sure that you're always sort of stable and not losing contact with the ground on a steep downhill. I've seen people discuss whether or not that's a useful technology or not. Some people cut it off. I tend to think it is useful, probably. I mean, it's a good idea. I like the idea of it, and I certainly haven't noticed any negative effects of having it there. So yeah, I'm happy with the shoe overall. It's my favorite shoe, I think, so far. So there you have it, Altra Superior 2.0. A great overall shoe, a good trail shoe, not the toughest of the tough. If you're heading out in super extreme conditions, maybe you need something more tough. But if you're just heading out on your everyday run in the forest, and even pretty tough trails anyway, I think this is a good choice. It's also a good choice for races, because it is quite light and you have pretty nice contact with the ground. So be sure to check that out. Check out Altra's shoes in general. Again, I'm not sponsored. This is my own personal review. Of course, if you guys are interested in checking out the shoe, maybe even buying it, I put a link in the description below this video where you can click it, and that will take you to the product, and you can go ahead and buy it if you feel like it. That is an affiliate link, so that means if you do decide to buy, we'll get a little bit of a commission for sending you there. It's a win-win situation, good way to support the lone trail. So yeah, if you're interested in the shoe, go ahead and click that link. Anyways, that's all for today. I appreciate your watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you're interested in staying up to date with all our videos. We're talking shoe reviews. I'll make more shoe reviews, book reviews. I'll also be making, obviously, running videos, running vlogs, and general talks regarding running. Anything that has to do with running, that's what you're going to get on this channel. So please subscribe, please stay up to date in that way, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Let me know down in the comments what shoes you run in and why. See you around.